Hi, I'm Jakira Black, and I am at the moment reading this book, which is Self-Editing for Fiction Writers: How to Edit Yourself into Print by Rennie Brown and Dave King. I write, which I think you'll probably realise. I am very much at the editing stage of I can write a story. Editing is not so easy. A lot because I get distracted easily, and some quite rightly too. My son has Asperger's, so I have to be able to help him at a moment's notice. So concentrating on editing when you need to concentrate on that is not so easy. But also it's hard to edit because how do you do it? How do you do it? What do you do first? Do you do bits by bit, or do you just edit once? How do you actually do? Now, this book, I thought I would get, and I've actually got a couple of other editing books as well, but I thought I would go through this and read it, and I thought that chapter by chapter that I would actually do a YouTube video for you all as a review, but also to discuss some of the ideas in each chapter, because the thing is, ultimately I need to come up with a plan of action for editing. I need to work out how I go about it, in how many steps. When I'm editing a story for my masters, I'm going to like 7, 8, 9 drafts. I would like to learn to do it a little bit quicker than that. I have a lot of novels that I've written. I've got one that's the first full draft. I want to edit them. I do, but it's hard editing a story, of like 2, 3, 4,000 words. Editing a novel of like 80,000 words, it's scary. And then I think I can do like reading books about self-editing and starting practicing editing and just getting on with it is going to help me become a better writer, help me to and you all out there as well, to be able to edit your stories to hopefully they are at least a standard where you can send them to an agent and hopefully be picked up. So the first chapter of this book, which I'm going to be discussing today, is Show and Tell. Now, we all know that we're, as writers, that we're supposed to show and not tell. And even though there is a place for telling in stories, too much telling slows down the pace of the story and just gets too much for the reader and puts them off reading. I have read books in the past where it's been so much telling that I just can't get through them. And I do really struggle with books that I just don't like reading, because I just don't. They have to pull me in, because otherwise I will maybe skip a little ahead and see if it gets better. But if the writing doesn't get it better, then I put the book down. So this chapter, and it's really, really good, this book, because at the end of each chapter it's got like a checklist of what's been discussed, and it's also got exercises for you to practice what's been discussed. So obviously, show not tell. You discuss, the exercises are about showing and not telling. But one of the things it talks about is, the tendency of writers to use narrative summaries. So, for instance, just telling what's happened. Actually, just telling the story, but not actually showing it happening. And obviously, in a first draft, there is more tendency to tell, because you're trying to get it down on paper and you want to get it wrote or written. But when you edit, when you go to your second draft and start to edit, you can actually go through these, maybe highlight passages that would be useful to actually change from telling to showing. You don't have to do all of them. But yeah, you know, highlighting them and actually in your second edit, rewriting those sections to actually have scenes of showing instead of just telling the reader what's happened. So, yeah, because the thing is, you know, too much narrative summary just makes the book boring, to be quite honest. So, yeah, but also it talks about that you shouldn't really tell what your character's emotions are. So instead of saying Sam was angry, actually showing Sam being angry. But also the tendency, and I definitely have this because I'm doing my masters and people have commented that I do this. I show something and then almost like I'm making sure the reader actually understands what I'm saying, what I'm actually telling them and telling us, you know, in the story. I tell them too. So I might be like, you know, or I'm repeating things that don't need to, because the reader already knows that Sam is angry. I don't have to say, you know, he stamped his foot and he punched the wall because he was angry. You know, I could just have that and it just makes it clearer. So yeah, so I'm going to do chapter by chapter this book. I do recommend this book because obviously I'm only giving you a small amount. I'm not telling you what the exercises are. And yeah, so I will put a link up to the Amazon page, you know, the book, so that those of you that want to get it can get it. So yeah, okay, bye.